What's up, everybody? We had a wild week in social media. Zuckerberg pivots. TikTok's last stand is today. Lots of things going on. I polled my audience. Is TikTok going to make it? We'll see. I'm going to jump into the stories. We got a lot to talk about. Again, the reason I love social media and also hate it is there's so much going on at all times. You have to keep up with the changes, with the time, with AI integration. So much going on that's going to impact your business, whether you're a creator, small business, large brand. This is the stories I'm paying attention to for all my clients. In addition to myself, I'm a creator with almost 1 million followers. My name's Kip. I'm here to share with you guys everything I think is important in your businesses. So the big story, it's January 10th. It's TikTok's last stand. So the last stand without Trump and his involvement. They're going to the Supreme Court today to see if they can reverse Biden's action of banning the app completely from America without intervention. So we'll see what happens today. It's going to be a big news. I'll jump back on later, maybe with a couple shorts, either shorts on YouTube or on my LinkedIn account, just sharing what happened, how should we digest it. Two big stories around the ban that came out. I do think Trump, again, his time in office is coming up, right? January 20th. Will he save it? He keeps saying he will extend it. He's looking to get it sold, make a deal, all that good stuff. He's a big fan of it now that he thinks it helped with the election. But I think it's also leverage with all the major players in the game, like Meta. Zuckerberg seems to be setting himself up, playing nice. So maybe this is also setting up for the ban. Maybe he's, this is his way of saying, I'll do this if you kill the app. In general, less competition for Zuck's and team, which I think sucks because TikTok is really leading in a lot of areas. Twitter's leading in a lot of areas right now, a lot going on. And we'll jump into that. The other big story was notorious shark Kevin O'Leary jumps in, and him and billionaire Frank McCourt. I didn't have time to do a ton of research on him, but he's a billionaire. They want to buy TikTok. They're saying there's a deal on the potentially could be on the table, even though TikTok hasn't said they're for sale at all. And it would be buying TikTok without its algorithm. I think there's even a name for it. I forget, but it's a thing that drives the For You page that basically reads our minds and tells us what we want to see on our pages. So interesting development as Kevin O'Leary jumps into the whole thing. And I did a poll on my LinkedIn. 50 people jumped in. 25 people said there's no chance TikTok gets banned. 20 people said 50% chance. 4 people said 99% chance, and 1 person said 100% chance to get banned. I'm leaning towards, I would say, not going to get banned, kick the can with Trump, stays in, they figure something out for another year, and then if TikTok doesn't get divested, I do think maybe there's a real potential it gets banned. It sucks, but we are basically in those days where you have to deal with it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it's going to get banned? We'll share some more stuff as it really keeps revolving. The one thing TikTok has been doing lately, it added even to my profile. I'm looking at my profile, I'm like, I didn't add this link. It's trying to push users to Lemonade. It's a site that's been around. It's owned by ByteDance, which makes still no sense. It's essentially a Pinterest mixed with TikTok almost. I never haven't really spent a lot of time with it, never saw a lot of engagement. It's one of those like kind of fringe apps. Will it come, will it go? It's too early to tell, but it became the #1 app in the App Store. People are experimenting with it, and people are saying, hey, follow me here. I think that's ByteDance's way to kind of own your email, own you, versus like everyone just going to Instagram or YouTube Shorts or whatever it's going to be. So crazy world. The other major story that happened this week was Zucks comes out looking like a SoundCloud rapper. I think I saw someone post that, which made me laugh. Really basically 180 on communities, on monetization of hate speech and all sorts of stuff on Meta, different pivots. So he basically said they're going to be walking away from moderators and going more to community notes like X, right? They're going to be adding back more civic content, and that is news and politics and all that stuff, which they had walked away from after 2020 run, and back to free speech, which Zuckerberg is claiming the root of Facebook. And maybe he's right there. I was on it when it very first started. I do think it was a little bit more anything goes. It was interesting because it was young people when it was young, my age, right? My demographic, millennials, when people were basically Facebook came around. So we were more sharing our lives and journeys and not being political. And I think as it aged up, you had our parents' generations coming out, and then with Trump coming in, people started to share, and it became 2016 to 2020 almost a huge culture of like older people didn't know how to react to social media, and then the big politics and general chaos around Trump at that time. So it was a perfect storm. I think we're out of that phase in general, as X has gone one way. There's other places to get content, and really Meta and Other places have been very low on the civic content. At the end of the day, it's kind of made those apps a different environment. And then most of the cultural, really the most important conversations are still happening on X, right? There's the whole HB1 conversation that happened, all the major news after Elon took over. And I do think, whether you like it or not, the major stories, the major news stuff is happening there. And maybe not only is Zuck seeing that, and some of the other things we'll talk about where I think Elon's leading here is that he's adapting to the new administration. There's definitely some of that going on. He's playing nice, as there's a lot of other things, and Meta's keeping its place, and AI is coming into the game. So interesting, change of pace. You got a lot of people, I think, delete Facebook, delete Instagram back. I do think that's just a horrible way to approach life. I think maybe I'm wrong. I think I like X. I like seeing things I might be uncomfortable with. You can go to Blue Sky if you want to see the 180 of maybe content on X. We'll talk a little bit about Mark Cuban in my last video, how he told me to go to Blue Sky and then followed me over there. But at the end of the day, he pivots. And I did a post. I think this is showing you not only is Elon maybe driving a lot of things, but he's also X is the way they're moving the platform is maybe leading culture a little bit in terms of certain areas, right? You have Elon doing paid verification, which then Meta, Snap, and all these other places are making part of their core services. Super smart, because I think it does force a lot of people playing in the space to be legitimized and kind of calling themselves out. It gives continuity to the platforms as well. X created that. The free speech now, right? Community notes now, right? These are innovations that X created. So interesting that it's going there, where X is going into payments. Next year that they announced that they're going to be doing more, right, direct payments to the app, trying to make the app more than just social media. I think Elon being a practitioner, while some people hate it, I think it's a way that the product has been evolving. I spend my time spending more because I do think the most important stories are still happening on X. It's a way when things break, like the California wildfires, to get very different points of view on what's going on. And then maybe TikTok's doing a good job of that as well, where Instagram and Meta, you just get kind of maybe your friends and family a little bit. They're going video first, right? They got the connection to smart TV. They're doing a dedicated video tab. And then they're working on AI enhanced. This is really new. I wish I could share a graphic as I update my videos here. They're doing an AI enhanced powered proofreading, fact checking, how to shorten your post and add personality. So it's an enhancer, they're calling it, for your post. So you maybe write something on X, you can use Grok to basically the AI to improve it, fact check it, all this other good stuff. TikTok's been going that route a little bit too in the back end. So you can see X doing a lot of innovation, lean, moving fast. I think that makes people uncomfortable because he's constantly breaking, pushing X. But I think a lot of the major stories are, whether you like the politics or not, I enjoy the discourse that happens on the platform. I definitely go other places to get different points of view as well. So anyways, lots of controversy. We'll see how this nets out. I think it's like anything. Someone makes a pivot, people complain, they maybe go somewhere else, and then basically it's back to business. Speaking of Blue Sky and all of this, Blue Sky's been interesting. I shared the story last week. I was there. I'm there on True Social. I'm on all the social networks, just even if they're fringe, to see if they go anywhere. It recently, I think, passed Truth Social, in terms of daily users. So I don't know if that's saying much. I think it's like 1 million or 2 million daily users. Like a Twitter would be like 20 or 30 million. Threads is pretty low as well. But at the end of the day, it's been making some progress. And I think if you go to Blue Sky, you do get a different point of view. And again, it's a decentralized network. And I've been on there, spent a lot of time. And I'm seeing like Mark Cuban's case for it on there. And he's basically saying, by pulling people to this app, you start to deleverage Elon and Zuckerberg and all these other people who have a lot of sway over the culture. So I don't know if that means anything, because if we all go to Blue Sky, doesn't that mean Blue Sky has the same thing? But it's a decentralized thing where it's not as For You page driven, I think, is the whole thing. But I think when I'm on the main page, I see a lot of I think it's algorithmic content. I'll spend some more time there, just to be clear on that. So some interesting updates. I don't think anyone needs to be there unless you really want to get a more left-leaning aspect. Again, Cuban says it's the way you can moderate the comments. You don't get as much junk. You have more discourse there. So we'll see if that's true. I'm going to spend more time there over time to see if it matters. The other controversy story was Meta was rolling out AI profiles. I talked a little bit about this last week. They were doing it in 2023. They, I think, bought or launched an all AI app. So essentially there was like less humans, and you went on there and then basically you were just interacting with like bots. and fake profiles. Now they're saying they're going to bring that back. And why this gets interesting and why this is even in the conversation, obviously AI and all that good stuff and bots is a big part of the world in general. But China is already on TikTok using AI basically generated characters to go live stream 24/7 to push product. So you can see why businesses and why everyone else would be interested in that. If you can basically control these avatars and make them, basically be parts of your business, that makes a lot of sense, right? It sucks for creators. You get replaced by AI, or lots of them, middle tier people potentially could. So I do think there's an interesting play. If this becomes mainstream, one, do people like it? It's the question we've been asking in movies for years, right? Can you love a robot, right? Can you love an AI? Can you be friends with them? So I think this is like we're maybe in the first generation really experiencing all of this. So it's pretty crazy. I could see, and maybe I should make a movie here. Like you can see an AI free app where it's just basically only people, no AI content allowed at all, because people would be like, I know I am not being tricked with, and you could see that potentially could be interesting to people. But maybe the next generation that grows up with this, they don't even know the difference, right? They're going to be talking to their phones and computers and being partners with them, probably like Jarvis and Tony Stark as they get older. But it's interesting. Two more stories here for day trading attention. Tapestry is a new app. It's something, actually, I had a thought about this, calling it Funnel way back in the day. I'm in the music business, you have all these social media sites to keep up with. It'd be nice if there was a place that can aggregate them, and then you have a stream to basically follow maybe the artists and pages that you want. So you kind of can just dive in based on a very select amount of people. But Tapestry, maybe Flipboard or something in this world, is trying to be an app for tracking social media, news, blogs, and everything else. Lots of stuff. Reddit, I think right now the beta has Mastodon, Blue Sky, Webinomics, social apps like Reddit, Tumblr, YouTube. I don't know if the big players will allow access, but we'll see. But this could be, just a place that kind of aggregates the news, and then you can dive in. It could be the place you go first before social, and then maybe it becomes a little bit more brand safe, so you can see ads fitting nicely in between all of this content that's aggregated. So Tapestry, it's not out yet. It's supposed to come out in 2025. Could be an interesting player, as people are maybe like, do I want to spend my time here, here, or here? Becomes a place where people go first to kind of see the broader stories and then dive in. Interesting. I thought that was an idea that I thought about years ago. It was more about, it would be the feed that you follow on pages. So very cool. I thought that was interesting, and it will be something I'm going to definitely check out. I don't know if that's, you need to pay attention to it for your businesses, but if it does become widely adapted, I could see it being like another phase of what's going on here. The last big thing I want to talk about is YouTube. It's making some very great updates, but this is the biggest one. And almost 2 weeks ago, I mentioned this would be like the holy grail, is they're testing a feature to automatically clip the most engaging elements of your long form video into shorts. And this really once a huge time saver, but also can be informative, as you're saying, right now you're kind of making those judgments or looking at that data naturally to pull clips or pull the most SEO friendly clips from your long form. As the real format becomes long form pillar video shows, right? Everyone's going to have one. And then you chop in the micro content, the shorts becomes the gateway drug for your brand. You can see this being super important because those viral clips really drive the introduction to people, or like the culture conversation, the lexicon, and then you go to videos like the one I'm making now to get the more informative long form stuff, where and the long form is the most important to businesses because people really build relationships, they understand the value. And I think Neil Patel and his buddy just did a study basically saying long form video is where most of the sales come from. You see Hermosi, an business influencer, doing 2-3 hour long dump of value of real tried and true business stuff, because he knows if I build that relationship with an entrepreneur, as they grow, they're going to follow me, and if they want to sell, they're going to go to me first because they have a relationship, right? It's a great way to make money. It's why we're all doing it. It's why people have been doing it for years. It's why you get music videos, right, and then content. So YouTube, really great innovation. This can save a ton of time, and I do think it's the holy grail. If you could just basically upload a long form video, says here's these 7 clips, clip it, and it drops it with captions. Nothing's going to beat that. I do think YouTube has the most upside of all the brands, because long term, it pays the creators the best. Long form video is still the golden goose if you can make it work. And then if you can do this part. It really kind of covers all your marketing for especially personal brands, entrepreneurs, small businesses, creators. And as brands really understand this, if you're a tractor brand, right? If you start to get into serious content like tractor racing or something else, or tractor lifts or whatever it ends up being, or my farm, you create a show and it's your product, and then you can start to pull out clips. You have basically a 24/7 working marketing business. Red Bull's been doing it for years. A lot of the players that really get it, they get it. Long form is the game. How do I make series-based content so people go, I want to follow this business. I like what they're doing. I'm interested. They're entertaining and educating me. The products work within my lifestyle. Boom. So let's say you had a farm and you're just using your, showing how Yanmar is worked in with actually really maintaining a farm. Why would I not go to that brand and then that brand's just clipping up and sharing content? So it feels very natural to me if you can convince a large business to do that. It's and you're seeing it with small businesses, right? They're candy makers and leather belt makers, and they're just posting content about how they do their thing, telling their stories all day, building 6, 7, 8-figure brands. So hope you learned a lot. There's a lot going on in the space. It's only going to get wilder in 2025. Follow along for more stories like this. Tell your friends about me. I appreciate you guys, and that's it for this episode.